Hello, I'm here with Mr. John J. Jeckovich, World War II veteran, and we're speaking to him about his book, Their Mother's Sons.
Let me check the mail, John.
Their Mother's Sons, and we're on the 16th chapter, and it says Civilian Life Once Again. We're on page 459. Mr. Jeckovich was in Company H, 2nd Battalion, 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich did not enlist. He waited to be drafted at 18 or 19 so he could spend more time with his mother. He was a sole provider to his mother from the beginning to the end of the road, from the beginning to the end of the road. And that's why the book's entitled Their Mother's Sons, and it shows how as a 10, 11-year-old, he was caring for his mother right into the end of her life when she was about 89 years old, and their mother's sons. And Mr. Jeckovich, back then and now, he still lives by the same motto that he had all his life. He believes yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's what Mr. Jeckovich lives by. He's knocking on the door of 100 years old, and he's in excellent condition. He can read the newspaper without glasses, perfect health, never prescription, never a vitamin, never drank, never smoked.
No.
Even though when you're in the Army, the Red Cross was passing out packs of Pall Mall, Chesterfields,
Never smoked, never smoked.
Lucker strikes like candy.
Yeah.
The Red Cross was passing out packs of non-filtered cigarettes like candy. Isn't that correct? Yeah. So before we start reading, I would have to have your dog tag number, Mr. Jeckovich.
420-965.
Okay. That's a password to open up. We're on docu-series 324, docu-series 324, and we're in Studio CB, and before I start reading, if anyone has a text from Mr. Jeckovich, you can text him, and he will answer all and every text he receives. You'll be able to text a living World War II combat vet. And keep in mind, I say combat vet because it's very important. And the reason why, there's only about 7,000 actual frontline World War II combat vets left. We started out with 16,400,000 young men and women serving in World War II, and we're down to less to 100,000. And out of that 100,000 we're down to less than 7,000 actual combat vets. And we're losing them at a rate of 35 men a day, so you do the math.
Oh, 35 a day, wow.
35 a day. All the young guys from World War II are in the late 90s or early hundreds.
Yeah.
Time waits for nobody. Time waits for nobody. So, so you can text us at this number. It's area code 407-366-0000. Text us at 407-366-0000. Or if you're from the grand state of South Carolina, text us at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. And Mr. Jeckovich will be gladly to answer all and every part of his text. And we have this question every day about longevity. Just briefly tell us how you survived to 100 and fine health, and what was your secret to longevity?
Genes.
Genes. And what else?
Well, exercise. Running, I ran.
You jogged for 80 years.
Yeah.
No prescriptions. No drinking.
No smoking.
no drinking at all, right?
No, I didn't drink, no.
But it's ironic, all the young boys in World War II, as I said earlier, they were passing out those non-filtered cigarettes like candy to them.
Yeah.
Pack after pack after pack. In fact, your tents, the tents before you're sent back to the States, were named after packs of cigarettes. Lucky Strike, Pall Mall,
Yeah.
Chesterfield. It was just amazing. I wonder how many of those young men never smoked before, but since they're in the service, they started.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many the young men that survived World War II later died of lung cancer 20 years later
Yeah.
from the habit
You'll
they
never
picked
know,
up.
you'll never know.
Another text message came in. What do you think this means, they ask. There's no atheist in a foxhole.
Wait, in the foxhole.
What do you think that means?
They're scared as hell.
They're what?
They're scared as hell.
And so they're finding God now.
Yeah.
They're finding God now. So that would answer that. And what was your main weapon during... Okay, I'll get someone to shut it off. Hey, Jen? I'll get a shut. You want to come shut it off?
I don't like being on camera.
I don't blame you. Hey, Jen?
You're shutting it off.
She got to shut off his arms going on.
Okay.
What's the one?
Okay, thank you. We'll do it right now.
What's the one?
Okay, thank you for this. Your alarm system's going on if you're hot.
My alarm?
Yeah, we'll get it taken care of right now.
Alarm, my house?
No, in your arm.
This one?
Yeah, hang on. We got to get a pen. You need a pen?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Your alarm system's going off. Yeah, Maurice, turn off that alarm system. Hey, hey, hey!
Wooden boat.
Hey, hey, hey!
Yeah, it finally came
Back
on.
on track.
Huh?
Hey, hey, hey! Make sure it goes
Our
off.
300th issue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Temporary setback. Hang on.
Okay, I think I have it off.
Temporary setback. Okay, refocus, Mr. Jeckovich, Maurice.
Okay. Oh, Lord.
Reset, refocus, Mr. Jeckovich. Okay. I was going to ask you, how are you feeling today, Mr. Jeckovich?
Tip top, tip top.
Did you have a
tip
nice
top.
dinner, Mr. Jeckovich?
I had dinner, yeah.
Did you have a nice breakfast?
I had a good breakfast.
Let me ask you something. When you have a breakfast, you eat a big breakfast? What do you have for breakfast?
I had two scrambled eggs, oatmeal and brown sugar, and half a cup. I don't even drink the damn coffee.
Why not?
I don't like it.
You did all your life?
No, coffee?
Yeah.
No,
Did you drink black coffee in the service?
no,
What did you have for lunch?
no lunch.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me that you're knocking on the door of 154 pounds. You didn't want to gain any weight, so you skipped lunch. So what did you have for dinner?
After dinner we had, what the hell we have? Well, we had a good dinner. We had that, oh shit, what was it? Veal chop.
Veal? Okay. So you got your nice new clothes on, and you got a haircut, you got a shave, you got your nails done, your toenails done.
I gotta get this stupid thing off right
Yeah,
here.
we got that covered.
We,
We'll talk after the air. But we got that covered. So, so you're in pretty good shape today, right?
right?
Okay. Do you want me to give you a couple more questions, or you want me to start reading?
Couple know what?
Do you want me to give you a couple more text questions, or you want me to start reading?
Okay, get a couple more texts.
Okay. When you went into the service in 1943, where was the first camp that you went to?
In the service,
Yeah, when you first time you left the house in Niagara Falls,
I went to Texas.
Texas. Is that San Antonio?
Yeah, San Antonio.
Fort Sam Houston.
Fort San Houston.
How would you like the weather in Fort Sam Houston?
How'd I like the weather?
Yeah.
Well, it's hot, but there's no mosquitoes.
No? Would you ever consider moving there?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. When's the last time you've been in San Antonio?
Since the war.
Yeah,
I never went back.
I see. One of the other questions were, when you first went to basic training, was your uniforms all olive drab? And were they sized correctly?
Fatigues were green. Olive drab, yeah.
And were they sized correctly?
No.
No. Do you still have those uniforms?
Well, yeah, well, then you go down your days off, you go to the tailor, get it set up. The company tailor would fix it up for you,
I see.
readjust it.
I see. I see. And one of the other questions was, what was the condition, the physical condition, when you had a accidental bump in with General Patton? What was his physical condition like when you met him? You know,
Patton?
yeah,
Full of piss and vinegar.
I see. But how was his health or his demeanor? Was he in good shape?
Well, he never stopped.
And did you
Well,
say
how old was Patton?
he was like in his mid to late 50s when he died?
Yeah.
But did he look much older?
Pardon?
Did he look much older than his mid to late 50s?
No, his job took a toll on him.
He was in World War I and II.
Both worlds, yeah.
And also, you said at one time when you seen Patton, his eyes, his face always looked red because he was always about on his Jeep, open air Jeep, with the cold wind blowing across it. So his face would always be red from the wind off the cold air.
Yeah. And the windshield wash.
Well, when you went back, when you got discharged from the service, what did you do the first couple of weeks when you got back to Niagara Falls?
Trying to get my mother worked all the work she had for me.
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I had to do painting, I had to fix the porch, I had to fix some cement, I had to do some stuff in the kitchen, put some new cupboards in.
So was that the first day you got back?
Well, I did that over a period of 2 weeks.
But when you first got back, did you rest up for a few days?
Messed up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your mother had a big to-do list.
Yeah, she had me going right away. Worry about the stupid orange juice.
And then also the other question was, when you got back, when you're discharged from the service, were both your two brothers also discharged at the same time?
Who?
Were both your two brothers also discharged from the service around the same time?
No, Looky was in the Coast Guard. He enlisted.
And was he in?
And Stevie had a school exemption.
I see. So you're basically the only one that got off of being discharged from the service at that particular time. When you got discharged, you were the only one in your family that got discharged during that month, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I recall the placard I'd seen on the desk of a Ranger Colonel one night while waiting to go on patrol. It read, "War is hours of boredom and minutes of sheer hell." Is that true?
So what?
War is hours of boredom and sheer hell.
Yeah, you're busy or you're dead.
Yeah. We were getting to know the people of Westphalia and the surrounding countryside quite well. It came as no great revelation that they were considered the enemy. They were no different basically from the people in Haverford West or Owensboro, Kentucky. They would wash and press our uniforms with great pride and energy, and always accepting cheerfully whatever we decided to pay them, be it food, candy, cigarettes, or a bit of American change. But one of our patrols outside of Westphalia and into the countryside, we came across a large woodworking factory. Being that you're a woodworking man, you probably love to see all the equipment.
Yeah.
Tell us what that factory looked like.
The factory was making legs and hips.
For all the young men and ladies that lost them.
Got bombed, hit at landmines, got killed, got hurt, yeah.
And what kind of equipment do they have in this factory?
All wood. Everything's made out of wood.
Was it still operating?
When I was there, I probably did it after the war was operating too.
So it was still operating.
Oh yeah.
During one of our patrols outside of Westphalia and into the countryside, we came across a large woodworking factory in which they made wooden artificial limbs for German military as well as the civilian population. The family that ran the factory until the Allied bombing got so intense that they would no longer obtain supplies, greeted us warmly, and were quite friendly. They took us on a tour of the factory, which was impressive and thought-provoking. There were thousands of wooden legs and arms scattered to the ceiling, waiting for shipment throughout Europe. There was machinery and equipment placed throughout the factory on assembly line fashion, turning out complete prostheses. It was not yet into full production, but we were told the family that the Allies were contributing greatly to fulfill its production goal. We occasionally brought them some rations from the mess hall, and they were most appreciative of whatever we gave them, as the food for the civilians was in short supply. They had one daughter, Hilda, about my age, of a slender build with flowing blonde hair and blue eyes. She was attractive and had a pleasing personality. She could also speak English quite well, as they're taught in language in their schools. Hilda had lost one leg above the knee in an air raid at Dortmund, and while she was attending school. She wore an artificial one leg made right in her father's factory, and did quite well on it. Whenever we, Post, Pastor, and myself, were on patrol, we would stop at the factory and visit with the parents and have some refreshments, all the while having lengthy conversations with Hilda, and we all enjoyed. She was flattered and pleased that we stopped as much as we did, and I believe her parents were grateful and pleased at the attention we bestowed on their daughter. I enjoyed our time there and delighted to talk to Hilda and look forward to seeing her and her bright and bubbly spirit, despite her handicap. During our last visit at the factory and the farm, the mother made us a delicious meal, German style, with all the thought, and we all thought was great. Hilda was saddened to see us go, and we promised to write when we got back to the States. I did not believe any of us did. Do you remember Hilda?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no one wrote again, right?
No.
During our last 2 weeks in Westphalia, I was fortunate enough to get a 7-day furlough to the French Riviera. How was that?
That was nice. I liked that, yeah.
Any sign of the war there?
Huh?
Was there any sign of the war?
No army there either or nothing. All civilians.
It was well preserved.
Yeah.
I would much rather had a pass to go to Paris so I might see Renee once again, but the Army insisted I go to Riviera. I heard of the French Riviera back home through some of my reading, but it was not a place that intrigued me even then. Unfortunately, Larson and his cousin were also going, which I found out later. Had I known earlier, I would have declined the furlough. I had not seen much of Larson since we left Haverford West. What kind of guy was Larson?
He was he had a jewelry business at home. That's his job. I think he had a little shop.
Was he nice to hang out with? Was he a nice guy?
Talking and that, yeah.
He talked too much?
Well, he talked too much, yeah.
All I knew was that he was transferred to regimental headquarters where his cousin was stationed and that he had gotten several promotions. He was now the tech sergeant.
Yeah, well, his uncle worked there too.
Yeah.
That's where he got the promotions.
Yeah. I always resented the fact he was favored out, but did not say anything regarding it. The stripes did not mean that much to me. Evidently it did to him, since he put them on everything he owned. His cat that ate the canary smile, that he greeted me always infuriated me. But I would not let...
Larson's?
Yeah. He had a big smile every time he greeted you.
Yeah.
But I would not let him see that side of me. I had nothing in common with him, and even less regarding his always smiling cousins. So him and his cousins were always smiling.
Yeah.
Why was that?
And that's their nature.
I would have preferred to go with someone like Tuttle, Mollenhauer, or even Post. We took in the several tours afforded us, enjoying the warmth of the beach and the excellent rooms in the hotel, along with the meals at the elaborate dining room with its chamber music. After a few days, despite all the niceties, I got weary of Larson and his cousin and ventured out on my own to take on several of the bus tours available. I got on one going to the perfume factory and struck up a conversation with two French girls, sisters, who were taking the tour on the bus also. They both spoke excellent English, and they seemed the perfect escape route for me from Larson and his cousin. So at this time, you're trying to get away from Larson and his cousin, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay. During their off time from the bus tours, they would show me the sights of Nice and even rented a car or drove to Monte Carlo for the day. I enjoyed my time with the sisters and was sorry to see it end. We spent my last day at the Riviera sailboating and even did some deep sea vision. They each gave me their picture and address and asked me to write to them whenever I thought of them. I never did. Why didn't you never write?
Yeah.
Why didn't you never write?
He was too busy.
When I returned from furlough, the division had received orders to pull out of Westphalia. We were departing Germany for good. You're departing for Germany for good. Wow. We were to travel to France and staff 100 square miles of camps in the province of Champagne. We were to administer the redeployment of individual units leaving the ETO. What's the ETO?
DCO?
ETO.
DCO.
E period, T period, O period.
DCO.
I'll read it again. We're to administer the redeployment of the individual units leaving the ETO.
ETO. European Theater of Operation.
Say that again?
European Theater of Operation.
Okay, thank you. Fine? ETO. There are 17 different camps, all named after cities in the U.S. Camp New York,
Yeah,
Camp Baltimore,
yeah,
Camp St. Louis.
yeah. California.
These in turn were broken down into smaller enclaves, and they're named after well-known cigarettes. Camp Philip Morris, Camp Pall Mall,
Yeah,
Camp Chesterfield, etc.
Yeah.
Which camp were you in?
Lucky Strike.
Lucky Strike. Unbelievable. Well, you were lucky, actually. You were lucky. Yeah. The entire area was called the Dust Bowl of France, as most of the tent cities were set up in a barren, unproductive sections of France, away from the large cities or the main thoroughfares. We were situated in a little town called Soups, and which had a history of going back centuries, and built in an old cavalry post, right in the center of town, which was comfortable and relaxing. There were shower facilities provided in our billets, and a mess hall close by. I was assigned to the Single Corps, and used that destination as my entry before being discharged some months later. My duties consisted of maintaining and operating 2 large switchboards that connected the various camps and some of the large cities of France. It was a change of pace for me, but I was a stranger as all the men I served in combat were being reassigned. The division was being disbanded, and the men like Passatore, Tano, and Maxey were low on the discharge points and were assigned to units in Germany. Tano was in the ordnance unit in Berlin. Maxey and Pastore were both assigned to an infantry division stationed in Germany for occupational duty. Mollenhauer was the most fortunate. He had enough points, being married with 2 children, to leave for the U.S. after completion of his processing at Camp Philip Morris. I had several more months before they came to my point level, and it was a good time, a period to relax. Wind down and think about my future, something that was more and more on my mind. I thought about applying for a furlough to the UK, but somehow I would never go through with the actual mechanics for applying for one. The chances were slim that I would get one, and soon after having received one to the Riviera. My duties at the Single Corps were getting pretty routine, boring, and since there was not much to do or see in Soups, I took on a couple armored forces correspondence courses in refrigeration and electronics. So they had actual classes there for refrigeration and electronics?
No.
But you said I took a couple armed forces correspondence courses in refrigerations and electronics.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
How did that go?
I had 3 courses. I dropped it.
Why?
I got bored.
I did not pursue them, and after about 10 lessons, lost interest and discontinued them.
Yeah.
I would get an occasional pass to the Reims, which was about 50 miles northeast of Swoops. As there was not much to see or do, I only went several times. After a week or 2, I was fortunate to obtain an overnight pass to Paris, and I took it with much anticipation.
1 minute, 15 seconds.
I took it with much anticipation and joy in the exception of seeing Renee once again. I went alone. I did not want to be hindered with a third person following Renee and me about. I was a firm assurance that she would still be at her home, and I never thought of leaving just yet. I believed she would finally leave, but I felt that she would linger for a while, making up her mind. I was filled with fervor of seeing her again. I was very happy. Perhaps she had changed of heart and was waiting here for me. Then would tell her of her newfound destiny. She would throw her arms around me and explain how she had thought it completely through and wanted a life with me.
10 seconds.
I relished the idea, and suddenly I knew it would not happen. My life would be begin shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
This one's off. You want to read another or go on?
Go ahead, just go.